This is the S23 Ultra and I have been using it for quite some time now. Now, it's been more than 8 months since this phone was actually launched back in February 2023, and there's a lot to talk about this one. Let's get started. Okay, so if you don't want to watch a full dedicated video on this phone and are just wondering if this is still worth it in 2023, the short answer is yes. It's one of the best Android flagship phones that you can buy if you have the budget to do so. So if you have the budget, go for it, and yeah, you're welcome. However, if you want to watch a little more detailed perspective and want to hear about my experience as well as the nits and the eccentricities that this phone brings to the table, welcome to the review. It's gonna be a long one, so make sure you grab some snacks and a bottle of water and let's get started. Now first, let's talk about the objective flaws of this phone, because they are so few and so far in between that it's just better to get rid of them first. Now the only objective flaw that I have heard people talk about when they consider the S23 Ultra is, well, the fact that it's a big boy. And that's true. This is a massive chunk of a phone, and the entire, square shape of it makes you feel like you have a really premium piece of brick in your hand, and it is definitely a heavy phone at that as well. So if you don't like big phones or having a larger phone in general, no matter how many good things the S23 Ultra gets right, you will always have the problem that it's just going to be too big a phone for you to handle, whether it is putting it in your pocket or just using it on a day-to-day basis. So then yes, you will definitely not like this phone. And the fact that I like the bigger form factor because of bigger screens means that this for me is actually a pro rather than a con, and I'm sure many of you guys will agree on that as well. Since this is going to be such a positive review, I would have loved it if it was sponsored by Samsung, but it's not. And all I can say is that if you like Android flagships, you're really gonna like this one. So let's talk about the good now. Okay, so the good: brilliant look and feel, overpowered cameras, incredibly gorgeous display, and snappy performance are just a couple of objectives that can be used to describe the usage and the day-to-day feel of having the S23 Ultra as your phone of choice. But it goes a little deeper than that. Let me explain. Let's start where we all should start when we look at a phone for the first time: the look and feel of it. Now the color that I have is the Phantom Black variant, and I think it looks absolutely spectacular, especially with this squared off form factor of the phone. The phone looks very nice to hold, sort of like a brick, and this stealthy color has a matte finish on the back that gives it a really cool and minimal look that I really enjoy. Other than that, you also get Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front as well as on the back, which makes this phone absolutely incredible. And with that, you get an aluminum frame on the sides, and yeah, all I have to say is that this phone is definitely a looker. Alright, let's talk about that screen. Now, like I told you guys, this has a massive 6.8-inch screen with a hole punch cutout for the front camera, and the screen looks especially large because of those symmetrical bezels. I really like the way this display looks, and the display tech in it is also equally amazing. This is a WQHD Plus panel that is LTPO OLED, varies from 1 Hz to 120 Hz, has HDR10 Plus capabilities, and a maximum peak brightness of 1750 nits that makes sure that no matter what you watch on it, it's incredible whether it is indoors or outdoors. The colors of the display are typical Samsung, punchy and saturated without really making it too overboard so that it looks unnatural, and I really like the look and feel of it. Moving on to performance, the performance is also equally snappy and good because it comes with the 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy with a higher base clock speed, along with 8 gigs or 12 gigs of RAM depending on the variant that you get, and the base storage starts at 256 GB, which is UFS 4.0 storage. Thank God there is no 128 GB variant, especially when you're spending so much on a phone. What I'm trying to say overall is that you just cannot go wrong with this combo of specifications. Multitasking, gaming or content consumption, you cannot go wrong with this display as well as the specifications. Nothing is going to give you lags or problems whether you're playing Genshin Impact on higher settings or you're just kicking back with a low-key puzzle game or just watching some Netflix. It's all good with this one. Speaking of performance, since this year's phones like the S22 Ultra again comes with the S Pen pre-installed, which gives you a completely different perspective of using the phone. You can use it to quickly jot down notes, sign documents, or just doodle on your phone if that's something that you're into, and when you're not using it, it goes right back into its place. I like the fact that whether you use it or not is a separate question, and it's just there with the phone when you buy it, and that is always a good addition. Okay, now let's talk about the one topic that everybody seems to talk about when they talk about Samsung's flagship phones, and that is the cameras. Man, this topic can be a video in itself, but I will try my best to concise it down for you guys. Alright, let's talk about the camera lenses first. The first one is a 200 megapixel primary sensor. You get another 10 megapixel 3x optical zoom with that one, another 10 megapixel 10x optical zoom, 112 megapixel ultra wide, as well as a periscope zoom lens that can do up to 100x of digital zoom. That was a lot. Note that these are 5 real lenses on the back of the S23 Ultra, and not like the 7 different focal lengths or different lenses on the new iPhone 15 Pro Max series, where the primary camera just crops into 3 different focal lengths and Apple is talking about it like they are different lenses. Come on Apple, you can do better. And this phone definitely does. Photos come out great in any lighting scenario with OIS in all the lenses. You get pretty good quality 200 megapixel detailed files if you want to take them. Those are gonna be big files, by the way. My favorites are the 3x and 10x telephoto lenses because they let me unlock a completely different focal length that you don't get to see in everyday smartphone photography. And I like the fact that the 8K this time in video capabilities is actually pretty usable, and the shutter lag is well contained. You can do videos up to 4K 60 if you don't want to do 8K, and the front camera is a 12 megapixel sensor which takes pretty detailed selfies, and of course the front camera also lets you record in 4K 60p. Here is a camera sample with an audio test right from the phone's mic. So this is a 4K 60 video sample from the front camera, and the audio that you're listening to is also from the phone's mic itself. Let me know what you guys think. Overall, this is just a very good camera setup, and I would recommend it to anybody who's looking for a very versatile Android smartphone camera. Battery life is also really good with a 5000 mAh battery that has a peak charging speed of 45 watts. You can also wirelessly charge this phone at a speed of 15 watts, and it can also charge other wireless accessories by reverse wireless charging at a speed of 4.5 watts. You can easily expect up to 6 or 7 hours of screen on time with one full day of usage and a little left over for the next day, and all of this is with always on display set to on and the highest screen resolution, which by the way the phone does not come out of the box set up with, so make sure you go ahead and change that. The stereo speakers are also very nice, and they give a very nice and loud multimedia viewing experience. The phone comes with Android 13 out of the box along with 4 promised OS updates from Samsung that makes it pretty future proof for the years to come as well. All of this makes the S23 Ultra a behemoth of an Android phone, and one that is worth it in all scenarios. Whether you buy it now at its current price or you buy it next year after the S24 Ultra launches and this becomes a little bit cheaper, it is worth regardless of the amount you pay for it. This is my take on it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and press on the bell icon if you watch the review. Let me know if you're planning to pick this up, or if you already do own it, let us know your experience in the comments below. I would love to know how your ownership experience has been with this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys have a great day. This is Anubhav signing out. Take care, peace out, and bye-bye.